Okay, students, welcome back. Uh, basically, what we did before we went on the break was we have found the equivalent parameters of the transformer. And now, if someone says we again look back at the book, this is what we did before we went to the break. So now it says that please find the impedances of the approximate equivalent circuit referred to the primary side. So this is a keyword. Now we want to make the approximate equivalent circuit, means that the real circuit of the transformer with the model of for the losses in the core as well as the copper losses, and we want to show it referred to the primary side. So this is very key statement that we want to show it on the primary side and not on the secondary side. And we know how we can get rid of the electrical isolation, and we can make the whole circuit of the transformer on one side. And what we did before was something like this, that we have a transformer like this and we have a load, and let's say we had a ideal model of the transformer. So what we did was, this was the ideal model of the transformer. We have done this before. In the ideal model of the transformer, we can simply shift the load on the primary side of the transformer by dividing it by a square or multiplying it by a square. Was it multiply or divide? Can anybody tell me? When we shift the load from the secondary side towards the primary side, was it a square times ZL or was it ZL divided by a square? When we shift it on the primary side, uh, what we did, was it multiply by ZL or divide by ZL? We did a small derivation. Let's go back and check in the book. So when we bring the things, we multiply. We bring the thing from the secondary side to the primary side, we multiply it by a square. There was a small derivation. Let me check that derivation. So we can quickly recall that. Uh, that derivation, I think, was on page. Okay, let me share this. New share. Okay, we have already done this derivation. When we shift the load towards the primary side, we have to multiply the load impedance by a square. So when we shift it towards the primary side from the secondary side, we multiply the impedance by a square. And if we are shifting from the primary side towards the secondary side, we divide by a square. Now it is clear. Let's go back to the whiteboard. Okay, so when we shift the impedance from the secondary side to the primary side, we just uh, multiply it by a square. Let's make it like this instead of this. ZL dash a square times ZL, where ZL was the actual impedance when it was on the secondary side. So we already know these transformations. So now what happens when we work with the real transformer, just like we did now, and how can we make its equivalent circuit on the primary side? Okay, so now we know that the equivalent circuit on the primary side will have the excitation branch, inductor, and resistance, and it will have series resistor and inductance, which we call R equivalent and JX equivalent. And we apply primary voltage on the secondary side, and we have secondary voltage on the secondary side, which is simply A times Vp. And what was A in our question? A was equal to Np over Ns is equal to Vp over Vs, and we were given 8000 volt on primary side and 240 volts on the secondary side. So this gives us a value of A equal to, quickly give me the value of A. What will be A equal to? A will be equal to Vp over Vs, which is 8000 over 240, and this is equal to how much? Has anybody done this? 33.33. So the value of A, which is the turns ratio, is Np over Ns or Vp over Vs. And for this transformer, Vp was 8000 and Vs was 240. So A is equal to this. Now we are making the circuit, equivalent circuit, refer to the primary side. And the primary side is the high voltage side. Which test did we conduct on the high voltage side? Which test did we conduct on the high voltage side? We conducted the short circuit test on the high voltage side. So we conducted the short circuit test on the primary side. So whatever parameters we found for the short circuit test are good for the primary side. So the parameters are 38.427 for R equivalent, and for JX equivalent it is 191.78 J. So these parameters are good. Why these parameters are good? Because they were already conducted on the primary side. The short circuit test was conducted on the HV side, which is the primary side. So the parameters that I found from the short circuit test are good enough to go in the primary side equivalent circuit. These parameters are already with reference to the primary side, so they are good enough. But what about the open circuit test? That was done on the low voltage side. That means it was done on the secondary side. So whatever I found from the low voltage side open circuit testing, the parameters are with respect to the secondary side. And what do I do to bring them to the primary side? Because remember, I'm making the primary side equivalent circuit. So I can make these parameters refer from the secondary side towards the primary side by multiplying them by A square. So it will be A square times RC, which was 143, and A square times JXM, which was 34.63 J. So I'm going to multiply each with A square. So that is the square of 33.3. So when I refer the RC and JXM values towards the primary side, because they were found with respect to the secondary side. The test was conducted on the low voltage secondary side, and I'm making the primary equivalent circuit. So these parameters are already with reference to the primary side. The test was conducted on primary high voltage side. This test was conducted on the secondary low voltage side. So I have to reflect the parameters towards the primary side by multiplying by A square. I already know the value of A, which is Np over Ns is equal to Vp over Vs. So when I multiply 143 by 33.33 square, so the value will come out to be, what will the value come out to be? Quickly tell me on the chat. What will this RC value be with reference to the primary side? And what will this JXM value be with reference to the primary side after I multiply them by A square? So 143 times 33.33 square is equal to 158 kilo ohm. So this RC as reflected to the primary side is 158 kilo ohm, 158.8 kilo ohm, and this JXM when referred to the primary side will be equal to 34.63 multiplied by 33.33 square. This will be equal to 38.47 K. I think these answers are correct. Let's go and look in the chat window. Some people have replied. So 158K and 38K is correct. Let's go back to the book and recheck. So we were doing this problem 2.2-2. Let's move forward. I think the problem was 2-2, and the equivalent primary side circuit is shown. Refer to the high voltage side. No, sorry, this is 2-5. We were doing 2-2, 2-3. Okay, so we were doing this problem, and the primary side equivalent circuit is indeed equal to this. So we reflect these two from the secondary side to the primary side because we are making the primary side equivalent circuit. This equivalent circuit is for the primary side, and these parameters were already found on the primary side because the short circuit test was conducted on the high voltage side, which was primary side, and the open circuit test was conducted on the low voltage side, which was the secondary side. So we have to bring the parameters calculated for RC and JXM towards the primary side by multiplying both by A square. If you multiply both by A square, this comes out to be 159 kilo ohm, comes out to be 38.4 K inductor value. So is everyone clear on this? Any questions about this before we take a break? Is everyone okay with this? What now this tells us is that the model of the transformer is this. The electrical isolation can be broken by reflecting the load or the secondary side impedances, which could be load impedance or which could be the parameter impedances towards the primary side. When I operate this transformer, I will have some losses over here, which will contribute to the core losses. And I will have some copper losses over here, which will contribute to the copper losses of both the primary and the secondary. So this is the total copper losses and this is the total core losses of the transformer. They don't refer to the primary side or secondary side. They are for the total transformer. Okay, so Asadullah has raised hand. Is there a question? Asadullah can talk on mic.
Yes, sir. I have a question, sir.
Ji, bole Asadullah.
Sir, why we are putting minus sign in core losses while finding angle?
Asadullah, your question is why we are putting the minus sign when we are finding the angle. And you, if you remember, for the finding the angle, is that one is the open circuit test. In the open circuit test, the resistance and the inductor are combined in parallel, and in parallel, the admittance adds up. The admittance of the two components adds up. The admittance, and what is the admittance? Admittance is the inverse of the impedance. So whatever we have for impedance, we have to do the opposite for admittance. So for example, for finding the impedance, we must do V over I. And for the admittance, we do the opposite, I over V. And for finding the angle of impedance, we do cos inverse of power factor. But since we are dealing with the impedance, it will become minus cos inverse of power factor. Why? Because if you have something like this, A angle B, and someone says what is 1 over A angle B, so you say it is 1 over A and the angle becomes minus B. So we are doing the same thing. Take the reciprocal of the impedance. Instead of V over I, do I over V, and take the minus of the angle, not the actual angle, but take the minus of the angle. So we take the minus of the angle. Is your question clear, Asadullah?
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
Okay. So for the short circuit test, we don't do both of these things because we are directly working with the impedance, not the admittance. Okay. Take care of yourself. Ending this class now. Allah Hafiz. Class leader, please send me the attendance straight away. Yasser, please send me the attendance straight away on WhatsApp. ठीक है जी, अच्छा, अल्लाह हाफ़िज़.